Welcome to The Record Show, your virtual spin around the vinyl industry. Brought to you by Radio Wasteland Records. Yes, Midland has a record store. Here's your host, Jim Gleason.
Greetings from the Wasteland and welcome to another edition of The Record Show. Got a great one coming your way today. We speak with the one, the only Michigan rock and roll legend, Mark Farner. Before that, though, Ken is off today getting ready for a big record store day drop on June 12th. So all of that stuff is getting ready to ship out. So we will talk with him next week. So I'll just have to cover the new releases this week on my own. Not a big week as it is as we head toward the record store day drop. Biggest of which this week, though, is the Taylor Swift release of Evermore. And that is coming to indie record stores on a piece of green vinyl this time around. Now, some of the record stores may not get that right away. I know we here at our store were told that it's not shipping until a Friday arrival, meaning that the label didn't want anyone releasing it early to the throngs and throngs of rabid Taylor Swift fans. So it'll be out on Friday, but some of your stores, including us, may not get that until a little bit later in the afternoon. Also coming out this Friday is a picture disc from Gwar, you know, those lovable little fuzzballs from Gwar, called The Disc With No Name. Now, this is kind of a Gwar Unplugged, a little bit different, so we'll just have to kind of give that a listen and see what that's like, but that'll be out this Friday as well. And another big one for this week includes a reissue of Fountains of Wayne, Welcome Interstate Managers. Now, this was a record store day release, I believe, from last year in one of the drops, and it was severely limited, and a lot of folks didn't get their hands on it. So it turned out to be a record store day first, so meaning that they're going to reissue it, and they are now. So that one is coming out on red vinyl this Friday. Looking ahead, couple of biggies down the line. On June 4th, we can expect a new album from Cheap Trick. And then on January 11th, a lot of buzz about this one. It's a group called Mammoth WVH, and that is Wolfgang Van Halen's band. And that is going to be a debut album from his band. Indie exclusive version as well, coming out on what's called Black Ice Vinyl. So we'll just have to hope that the indie stores like us get enough of those to go around, because there, as I said, there's a little bit of a buzz. Some folks really looking forward to that release. Also on June 11th, and this might be one you'd want to talk to your record store about pre-ordering in case you want it, is a Black Sabbath Super Deluxe 4LP set. They've been doing this for a lot of the older Sabbath releases, and they've now worked their way up to Sabotage. And this is getting the 4-album plus a 7-inch release set with lots and lots of extra goodies. See here, this is a newly remastered version of the original album, along with a complete live show recorded during the band's 1975 tour. So the Super Deluxe edition introduces 16 live tracks, 13 previously unreleased, recorded during the 75 tour for that album. The big box set also includes a 1975 Madison Square Garden replica concert book and a Sabotage 1975 tour poster. So check that out for all of you Ozzy and Sabbath fans. That's coming out on June 11th, but because it's a bigger ticket item, looks like it's going to list for $109.98. You may want to talk to your record stores ahead of time to make sure that they're going to have enough if you really want to get one of those pre-ordered. Okay, on to our show today. Last week, there was a great live music release, speaking of live music, from Mark Farner's American Band, but it was on DVD, and this had been delayed a little bit because of COVID, but it is out now. Well, the cool thing is that recently I had a chance to talk with the legend himself about not only this DVD release, but Michigan rock and roll and the powerhouse that was Grand Funk Railroad. I'd like to welcome to the record show. Normally I'd say a Michigan rock and roll legend, but I'm going to go with rock and roll legend straight up. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Farner. Mark, thank you so much for being here today with us.
It's my pleasure to be with you, Brother Gleason.
So you know what? We love talking about music and love talking about records, but what I've really been into lately is talking about Michigan music. And you come from an era that was just ripe with some of the best rock and roll, statewide, nationally, internationally, you name it. So could we get a little bit of a history lesson? I know that you started off with Terry Knight and the Pack, and then
Yeah.
it kind of bounced into the Bossman and then back to Terry Knight
Yeah.
before Grand Trunk became Grand Funk. Did I get all this right?
Oh yeah, dude, you're on it.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about how did Grand Funk come around? I mean, Grand Trunk, obviously the railroad in through the Flint area, but how did this, for everybody that's kind of new to vinyl and getting into your stuff, tell us how you guys came to be, please.
Well, the band formed after the 5-piece band that the drummer Don Brewer and myself were in had broken up because 2 of the guys were married, and we got stranded out on the East Coast in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. We were doing some gigs out there, and the worst snowstorm in the history of the world descended upon us Michigan boys, and we were stranded, Jim. The snow was butt deep to a tall Indian, I'm telling you. But through all of that, Don's mother sent some money up the coast to a drugstore, to a Western Union place up there. So we hitchhiked across after the road got opened up. We hitchhiked and up to the drugstore, got the money, rented a van, put all our stuff in there, and came back to Michigan. That's when Craig Frost's wife and Kenny Rich, the guitar player, Canadian brother of ours, both of their wives said they had to quit the band. And so the band broke up. And Brewer and I were sitting there, and I said, dude, why don't we just start a 3-piece band? And he goes, 3-piece? And I said, yeah, man. I start naming, Cream and, some of the 3-piece groups. And he goes, who would we get for bass? I said, I don't know who it'd have to be a badass bass player, though. It's got to be a badass. And so we go up to Delta Promotions in Bay City, who was the outfit that sent us to the East Coast, under the pretense that if we would go out and play some of these gigs free, that we could go back and actually make money. So we thought we were making zero, but that was not the case. We found out just before we left the Cape that we were being paid $350 a show. And now we want to go up to Delta Promotions and give them a piece of our mind and find out what happened to our money. So we're sitting in the outer office at Delta Promotion, Bay City, and part of their facility was a rehearsal studio. They had a stage set up and everything. And there was somebody in there using it. And Brewer and I sitting there looking back and forth at each other. And I said, dude, are you listening to the bass player that they got in there? And he goes, hell yes, dude. Are you kidding me? I'm feeling that bass. And so when they took a break, out walks Mel Shocker. And Mel and I went to school together. We rode dirt bikes together. We smoked dope together. We drank beer together. We did everything together. And I knew he was a badass. And I said, dude, we are going to start a 3-piece group. We didn't know what the name of it was. I said, we're going to start a 3-piece group, and we need a bass player. You wouldn't happen to be looking for a gig, would you? And he says, man, I am so ready to leave this band. It was Question Mark and the Mysterians. And he had crashed a van or so. He did some stuff, and he needed to get out of that band. So Grand Funk came from a song that Terry Knight wrote called Grand Funk Railroad. And he asked the band, why don't you guys just name yourself the name of my song, Grand Funk Railroad? And we went, okay. That was it.
And that's that. And that's that.
That's
and
it.
legends were born.
Yes.
Now, late 60s, early 70s in Michigan was just a phenomenal rock and roll scene.
Yeah.
What do you think makes that area stand apart and really just kind of led to the creation of so many great groups from that era and from this locale? Is there something in the water or something in the snow that really kind of made this state happen at that time?
There's something in the community that the auto factories drew to Michigan. My mother moved from Leachville, Arkansas when she was 16 years old, moved to Flint, Michigan, and her dad, mom, uncles, aunts, everybody, grandpas, everybody moved north to get these high-paying auto factory jobs, and they brought their instruments with them. Every Sunday at my house or Aunt Dorothy's house, my mom's sister, we would have a jam session, and they would bring out the fiddles, the banjos, the guitar. My dad blew saxophone, and when the women started singing, Brother Jim, oh my God, it was like angels. And so I got into that, real early. I got into it, and then I stopped to think about it. I think, our friends were from Mississippi, was from New Orleans, Georgia, North and South Dakota. The people came from all over to work in these auto factories. And that is how we got such a great pool of musicians and people that were fired up. It's just in our blood. The music is in our blood, and it was nurtured in every home around that was having their Sunday, where they would have Southern fried chicken with a hockey puck dumplings or sloppy joes, guaranteed. But we broke bread, did a lot of music. Of course, I was just a little shaver coming up, but it got on me. It got in me. It's part of who I am. And I think that all that music is, with Alice coming out of here, Glenn Fry, so many. Look at Wagner, man. I mean, geez, oh, Pete, he's been in a lot of places and all the music he's written. But our pool is deep. Our musicians, we got lots of musicians, and it was South meets the North, North meets the South. And in the North, we didn't have the prejudice that they had down in the South, the racial prejudice. So, our black brothers and sisters were just black brothers and sisters. There ain't no thing, music just brings it right down to everybody's the same. And I don't care what color your skin is, your blood is red. And that's what Jesus is all about. That blood is deep, man. That blood is unconditional, and it covers all of us from the beginning to the end of time.
You know what? And Michigan is lucky enough to have two great big genres really coming out of that, between Motown and the late 60s, early 70s rock scene. And they did seem to coexist fairly nicely and really build off of each other.
Yes, absolutely. Look at Rare Earth, buddy.
Okay, switching gears, Mark, you have got a very special release for a very special cause that has just come out. Tell us a little bit about this performance in Chile and what you're hoping to do with this.
Okay. Yes, it is Mark Farner's American Band from Chile With Love. It is a DVD. It's a live concert shot at Teatro Caupolicán in Santiago, Chile. And the fans did not let us down. The first time we were in Chile, I loved the feeling. I loved the love that was coming to the stage. And I love the fact that the fans, these Hispanic speaking people, are singing my songs to me when we come out. Are you ready? And here's the audience singing just as loud as the PA. And I'm going, wow. It almost stopped me cold. They were singing so loud. And then when we got into Heartbreaker, brother, oh my God. Wait till you hear it. If you get this DVD, you're gonna see some love coming from the people, and the waves, the accolades of emotion, they overcome the stage. It's just, it's amazing what this DVD, the concert, shows. And the love is so blatantly there. And each player is, we're not on the stage. We're like floating 3 feet above the stage on the waves of emotion that are holding us up. There are 16 performance tracks. There are 5 bonus tracks that are new music being released. There is 2 bonus videos, one of which is available right now at markfarner.com. It's the Rock and Roll Soul video taken from this very same concert in Santiago. And each one of the DVDs that sell, each one, we give $3. My wife, Lisa, and I take $3 and we give it to Veterans Support Foundation, which is an organization of veterans by veterans. It's for veterans. They help get vets into transitional housing if they need it. When they get back, they will stand in the gap for our veterans, and they will advocate for them in front of the Veterans Board. And they are of, like I said, they're veterans themselves. And these guys, a lot of them from the Vietnam era, who keep this thing rolling. And we have worked with them since the 70s. I know these guys got heart, and I know there's no hanky-panky going on, because 100% of what they get goes to the cause. None of them take a salary or any money, because they got a heart for veterans. These are veterans for veterans. So I encourage people to go ahead and buy the DVD. And you're going to love it. You're going to love the music. But I want to thank you in advance for that donation to our brothers and sisters in the armed forces who could really use our help. God bless you. Thanks.
Well, we have been speaking with Mark Farner, Grand Funk Railroad, Mark Farner's American Band, and the just released DVD is From Chile with Love, and we are certainly looking forward to that. Mark, thank you so much for being here with us today. And as always, if you ever have anything you want to talk with us again, just let me know. We'd love to have you back on at some point.
Thank you so much, Brother Jim. I appreciate it. And all those watching this podcast, God bless you. Hang on to the love. That's what's real. And blow the other stuff. Or no, flush the other stuff down the toilet.
There you go.
That's where it belongs. God
Mark,
bless.
Thank you again. I'd like to pass along another big thank you to Mark Farner for joining us today on The Record Show. And don't forget, you can pick up that concert From Chile with Love on DVD from finer record stores everywhere, or by visiting his website at markfarner.com. We should have also mentioned, too, that initial runs of this have been autographed personally by Mark as well.
Spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, round, 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 round. You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, round, 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 round.
Thanks for watching The Record Show. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe to the Radio Wasteland Records YouTube channel. And be sure to hit that notifications bell so you'll be alerted every time we upload new content.